this is Maria from InkyLittleTreasures.com. Hi! Today I'm going to show you how to make a really quick, cute little card. But mostly what I want to show you is my perfect bow tying technique. I think that's going to be the highlight of our video. So today what we're using the Love What You Do stamp set. And this card is super, super cute. So let's get started. So you guys know, if you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook or even on my blog, it was my birthday last week. So we are making this card as a thank you card for every single person who took the time out of their day to wish me a happy birthday and give me gifts and all that good stuff. I love, love, love birthdays. I think birthdays are super duper important. And I don't know, I just love them. So I want to thank everybody who took the time to wish me a happy birthday. Okay, so I kind of skipped a few things, so let's go over what we're using so far. So this is, I think it's Highland Heather. Yes, okay, Highland Heather purple cardstock. We're using Whisper White cardstock. And then I've pulled out my Coastal Cabana Classic Stamping Ink Pad. So I've got two pieces of this Whisper White, and they both measure 5 1/4 by 4 inches. One will be a front panel and the other will be an inside panel. So I'm just gonna do them both at the same time because I'm stamping them both with that Coastal Cabana. So the first stamp I have is the kind of like watercolor background stamp here from the set, and I have it mounted on my E clear block. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to ink it up, and then I'm going to stamp it not quite centered, a little bit off to the right towards the bottom. Applying some even pressure. Ta-da! Yay! Okay, so we've got that one, and then the other one I'm doing is, let's see, this flower stem here. We're using that one also. And again, just using some of this Coastal Cabana ink. So you guys know I like to decorate and embellish the insides of my cards also. So this one's going to be the inside panel. So I'm putting my things away as I go, and you guys know I like to clean up as I go also. So this is the Simply Chamois. It cleans your ink pads. It is stained from previous uses, but it doesn't pick up on anything that I'm cleaning now. So you just go like that, and it'll wipe it away, get it all clean. Or sometimes I just pick up the chamois. The chamois is super durable. It's meant to be rinsed and wrung out. It is a little bit moist, which is why I keep it here in this. This is just a regular stamp case. And you keep it in there kind of to hold in some of that moisture so that your chamois continues to do what it's intended to do. So let me throw this. Oops, sorry, throw them out of the way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one right here, this smaller kind of watercolor, and using my Daffodil Delight Stampin' Pad, I'm going to ink that up, and I'm just gonna stamp over these flowers. Obviously the watercolor is bigger than the flowers, but I kind of like that artistic type of look that it gives my flowers. Okay, so that's that. Your insert is done. Okay, I'm taking the chamois again, just cleaning up my stamps as I go. Okay, what am I doing now? Now I'm going to take this, what is it? It's like the 3 kind of, I guess there's 6 technically, little flower, I don't know, grouping, I guess. I'm going to use my crumb cake. And for this one, we're going to do just kind of randomly. I'm doing it once, lifting. I'm not going to reapply more ink, and then I'm going to stamp somewhere else. That way I get this really subtle kind of background effect. Not quite as crisp. So I'm just going to do that all over. And I'm kind of turning the page because I want the flowers to have different dimensions and textures. I don't want them, oops, stamp off really quick. I don't want them looking uniform, right? So there's that. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to use some of my, this is, what is this? I think this is cotton classic weave ribbon, and this is in crumb cake color. So I'm just gonna kind of measure across, a little overlapping here and a little overlap there. And then with my paper snips, cut this here. You okay? Yeah. So my son is watching me make this video and helping me. So, okay. So we've got that. You can see it overlaps. It probably overlaps more than it needs to, but just using some regular clear tape, I'm gonna line this up kind of towards the bottom of my image here. I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna tape this here so that that holds the ribbon in place. Ta-da! Okay, now we can use, let's see. Let me see what we can use. Okay, I need, what do I need? Oh, I need adhesive. I cannot believe I don't have adhesive out. Okay, let me grab a snail. Okay. There's my adhesive. Oh, sorry. Okay, so behind me is kind of my setup, where I store all my stuff, so I had to get a basket down to get snail. Okay, so just using some snail adhesive, I'm gonna apply this, and making sure my card opens correctly. Gonna line this up, centered up here, right there. Okay, flipping my insert over, just gonna put that insert in also. It got a little crazy on the edge over here, so okay. All right. Okay, right there. So I love this Bermuda Bay and the Daffodil Delight. I think that looks so pretty with the purple. Okay. Okay. So snail's a little bit forgiving, so maybe it'll, okay, it's a little bit crooked, but I think I'll live, right? Can't tell. Can't really tell. Okay, so here is my perfect bow tying technique. Are you guys ready? You take your ribbon flat, pinching, and then loosely pinching like so. You now have loops. You're going to remove your fingers from the loop. So now you have loops like this, right? It's really important that the loop on the right side, so this loop right here, is going to go towards the back of the other loop. And then this loop on top will flip under and through this little hole here. Okay, now your tail will flip over and you will tighten, tight, tight, tight. Okay, and look, there's a perfect bow with your tails going at the bottom, and then you kind of just finagle it as much as you need to. And you keep tying tight, and then I usually just hold the middle if I need to pull on my ends at all to make it smaller. So there you go, perfect bow, just like that. So then taking my my paper snips, I'm going to grab a tail, fold it in half, and use these two fingers to pinch right here. Sorry, my index and my ring finger and my thumb, and these two to hold tight. And then I usually kind of just measure to the end of my bow loop, and then that's where I cut off my tail so that it's like a perfect length. That's my preferred length. You guys of course can do what you prefer, but this is how I do it. So I just, again, folding it in half and then going to the length of my, wait, this one goes a little bit different. So there we go, like that. And ta-da, perfect bow. Yay. And then I just like to give it a little tug to make sure it's tight, so that I know it's not going to fall apart at any point. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to kind of move all this stuff aside. Bring my Big Shot over, and then I'm going to grab my, this is my Stitch Shapes Framelits. I'm gonna use my oval, and I believe this is not the largest oval, but like one in from the largest. So using that, I'm gonna grab my cutting plates. Excuse my cutting plates, guys. They're well loved. I do love my cutting plates. Okay, so I just have a scrap piece of Whisper white paper here. I'm gonna set it in my Big Shot, set my framelit over it. Make sure I sandwich it up and then roll it through. And then this here. So now I have this right here. This perfect oval with a little stitching on the edge. That'll give it a little bit of texture. Then this is the last stamp that we're going to use on this card. This is the I'm lucky to have a friend like you sentiment. So I'm going to use that. And this one I'm going to stamp in Highland Heather. So the nice thing about photopolymer stamps is that you can see through them. So I will often do my die cutting using my Big Shot prior to stamping when I know that I'm using a photopolymer stamp, because you can see through it. With a red rubber stamp you can't see through, so I usually will stamp and then die cut, but we can see through it, so we can get perfect alignment right there. Okay, so grabbing a couple Stampin' Dimensionals, I'm just going to grab 3. Some of that backing pop off. So then I'm going to line up my sentiment right around here. And then with my bow, take a mini glue dot and I'm just going to stick it like in the center of my bow. Stick it right there. So this is kind of like a cheater method. It looks a little bit like maybe that bow was tied as part of that background ribbon, but it wasn't. We didn't do that. That requires a lot more effort. So I like to do this method. I just think it helps it clean up really good, and it ensures that you can do your perfect bow technique, so you end up with a perfect bow. Okay, these are the iridescent sequins. So we're going to be using 3 of those, and this card gave me the opportunity to try a new tool. So this is the Take Your Pick tool. It has 2 ends. One end, this end has a little spatula. It's also, you can remove it. You can see it has that sharp nib, and then there's another piece that you can use also. And then on this side, this has a little putty tip that will pick things up. So I have the spatula and the putty tip because that's the 2 ends that we're going to be using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my glue dots ready. So we have glue dots ready to be used. And I'm just going to pick up a piece of sequins and I'm going to drop it right here, and then I'm going to grab another sequence and I'm going to drop it right in the middle of that glue dot. Okay, so that's all we need. Hold on. Okay, that's all we need. I just need the 3 sequins. Okay, so then using my little spatula tip, I'm going to kind of scrape off my sequence and I'm going to adhere it. And it does, as it pulls away, I pull a little bit of that glue dot, so I just use the spatula to kind of tuck it back in there. And maybe this one up here. And then again, I'm just tucking in parts of the glue dot that kind of escaped as I pulled away. Ta-da! Okay, and then just scraping that little bit back in there. Perfect, there you go. That's my card. Now I have my little I'm lucky to have a friend like you card with this really pretty coordinating insert. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked my video. I hope that you learned something and that you use my tricks. If you have any questions or anything, please message me, and I hope to see you over on my blog. Bye.